Welcome, everybody. It's your boy, the Versace Stunner. We're here with another episode of VSW Podcast. Tonight, we're talking about Toprope Wrestling out in Brockton, Massachusetts. Guts and Glory. What a great show it was. Got to see some old friends like Mashup Wrestling and other fine folks. And like I said, it was a really fun time. And let's go to the card a little bit, as there was some difference. A lot of the, household stable names weren't there. A lot of people were looking for Channing Thomas, Little Mean Kathleen, Teddy Goods, Elias, and a few of the other top rope familiars. They weren't there. But there was new faces, there was other faces, and it just honestly, it was a good overall show, even though it was a little bit different. I have to say, though, kicking things off, right off the bat was LSG and Magnum. What a show they put on. Very technical wrestling. If you like wrestling, this was the match to watch. They both, a lot of locks, holds, reversals. Almost like college wrestling, some of it. It was very intense at points, and LSG is just a phenomenal wrestler, though. Very good. Magnum was good, too, though, but it was LSG taking the victory in the end of it and really winning over the crowd. He was very over. He actually did the in-ring photos during intermission. Magnum, though, he gave it a really good try, I have to say. There was also a Young Lions triple threat. This match, I have to say, I'm gonna be a little guilty on it. I was kind of talking with one of my friends and kind of just chilling. I didn't get to hear many of the names being mentioned as they were entered into the match. Although they were all newer students, I believe, and they all gave it their all. I mean, I thought it was a really fast-paced match. And really good quality of that triple threat. Sometimes these matches don't go as planned and they can kind of get lost, and it's just one-on-one or one person or two people are carrying the whole match. This wasn't really like that. It was the O'Neal guy that did pick up the victory. And, he came out, he was very confident. I want to say he had some kind of gimmick and people kept rousing him, but I don't know. Like I said, these are the future. I always say these young kids, these people. These are the future of pro wrestling. This is what we're going to be seeing in the next 5 to 10 years, headlining shows. So I always try to pay attention. I wish I did a better job getting their names. I have to go back and look and see. Even on the card itself, it's not even mentioned. It just says Young Lions Triple Threat. But I will get back on that. Speaking of other things, though, we also saw Brutal Bob in action. He was with Mosh Pit against Beast Master. You had PPH there and, the team. And this was like a weird tag match because the whole night, Brutal Bob didn't tag. Just stayed in there. And he kept wrestling both men. Back and forth. And when he did go and tag, Mosh Pit let him have it and brutalized Bob. And down went Bob. And they won. Beastmasters won. And then Mosh Pit came out and just kind of stood with Beastmasters in the ring. And they kind of just, relished the moment. And that was it. It was, like I said, it was a weird match. It was just kind of like Bob versus the world. I don't know why. I mean, I get the turn. If you're going to turn somebody, I don't get why not have him do anything the whole night or not even have Bob attempt to make the tag. I don't get that. I don't get it at all. But it was entertaining at best, I thought. It was an entertaining match. It wasn't my favorite of the night. But it was a fun match. You also had a nice women's match, too. Bully J taking on Luscious. And, we've seen Luscious, wrestle many a times, and Bully Jade as well. And, this was a good matchup between them two, as, you got a very over face and a very, defined heel, and both of them are going back and forth, fighting each other. And, just kind of listening to the crowd, it was interesting because a lot of the crowd was actually for Bully Jade, believe it or not, at this show. And, a lot of them, at least in my section, they were rooting for Bully Jade. And, I thought it was, like I said, a good match. Bully Jade reminds me kind of a female wrestler that used to be in NCW, Sierra. It's kind of like a Sierra 2.0 in my opinion. But she actually picked up the victory, stealing it, grabbing the tights on the pin and, taking and stealing it. And, Luscious after was just like, this didn't happen. The ref's like, well, I saw what I saw. And so it was on. And, it was just, but it was a good match. It was right before the main event. I'm not even doing these in order, but it was right before the main event of the evening. So, but it was a good match. It was. Let's see. We also had Jora Joel fighting Desi Desimont, and this was a great classic matchup. I really enjoyed this matchup a lot. Jora Joel's great. We've seen him all over we've seen him on AEW Dark. You've seen him wrestle in Pop-Up Wrestling, other places. And you have Desi Desimont, just, local legend. Great, getting the crowd to not like him. He's a good heel. He's good at what he does. And this was just like a classic wrestling match, very straightforward. And, I really enjoy it. Sometimes I just enjoy this. It's like, these classic matchups where just two good wrestlers just wrestle. It's not, there's no gimmick involved. There's no story gimmicks involved. There's no gimmick match involved. It's just a straight up match. I liked it. It was Jora Joel, though, taking the victory, or as Desi Desimont told me, he stole the victory, and he cheated, but any which way, it was Jora Joel's getting his hand raised. You also had Waves and Curls lighting the place up against the Haven. These two tag teams killing it out there. Probably my favorite, well, it was like my second favorite match of the night. I'll get into my favorite match next. But this is my second favorite match of the night. Just very high energy. Waves and Curls, amazing tag team. The Haven as well. These two just ripping it apart. They had the greatest chemistry, I thought, as all four men could collide. And, just like I said, Waves and Curls energy alone, I don't know if you've seen them on IWTV. You've seen them here. They've always just throw on a big party. It's just boom. Fireworks. I got, hit with confetti. It was just fun. And I always like seeing them. I remember we sponsored them back in the pandemic when they were NCW champions during Behind Closed Doors. And, just since then, I just kind of just followed them around a bit. And they've just done an amazing, amazing job. So another amazing job is they hold on to their tag team titles. And let's get on to my favorite match of the night. Now, this match was, in my opinion, also the match of the night. Outstanding wrestling, great storytelling. You have H2O, Ryan Waters, against Brett Ryan Goslin, for the championship, the middle championship that they got. And, it's just a story. Like I said, BRG has had a past, on a losing streak, hated. People throw things at him. They don't like him. And, all of a sudden it's great. Now they love him here. He's doing good. He's doing really good. Actually, he's doing great. He's champion. He's got a belt around his waist. The losing streak is over. He's differentiated himself from Channing Thomas. He's not around that anymore. It's different. Channing's doing his old world-class thing. No more than natural. You have, BRG on his own. Now you start to also see him on, you've seen him in NCW. If you follow that, was world champion once again. But then he's also in Limitless. He does stuff out there. You've seen him on Beyond now, Wrestling Open, Northeast Wrestling, all over the place. BRG is just getting better and better and better all through the days. And then you have, H2O, Ryan Waters, the veteran legend, the Toprope, legend here. And he's just, this is a great matchup for the title. H2O really doesn't like BRG at all. BRG, comes out. The fans are all behind him, and it was just great storytelling in that, and just the way that HOL held himself with the crowd and held himself with him, and he would keep shaking BRG's hand. People would expect something, but no, it was very clean, a lot of respect, and the match happened. And BRG retained. He beat Ryan Waters. Great match, like I said, great maneuvers. He was doing some of those Macho Man off the top, double hand moves. He does a bunch of those now, and BRG's just gotten better and better, and Ryan Waters is great. So you have all this, and then you had a great speech at the end from H2O, just talking about I remember seeing you at Showcase and ba and just going through his kind of past and how big he is now and how much he's coming. He might not like him, but he has to. He kind of respects him, and it was just great overall storytelling, great matchup, and in my opinion, the match of the night. Then you had the world title match. Nico Silva going against Cesar Leo once again for the title. It was a tables match, and I have to say, I'm not the biggest fan of Nico because I'm not the biggest fan of baby faces. I'm not. I just not. If you're too much of a baby face, I'm just like, ugh. But I'm also, I have to say though, he can light it up when he wants to. He puts it up. They put on a good match. Was it the best match of the night? No, I don't think so. Again, I'm going to go back with the H2O BRG match. Was it entertaining and fun? Yes. And did it serve purpose? Was it a good story driven? Yes. And you know what? Nico is a good champ. He comes out. The fans are very much behind him. They're chanting his name. They love this guy. And he can hold his own. And, and everybody watches. And like I said, it was a good tables match. You don't see many of that on the scene. There was chairs used as well, weapons. It's always a plus, in my opinion. Not for every match, but, if you have one match with some of it, it's good. Or a couple matches, whatever you want, but not every match. Not every match needs to be hardcore or this or that. But this, like I said, was that. And honestly, I think they both delivered in this. And Nico did come out victorious, of course, holding on to that gold. But